and then we'll get back
We're
over
gonna
there.
have some excellent Nerd Rage Gaming action going on for the semifinals. Action. We have the man we just saw with Black White Eldrazi, Peter Tragos on the left, battling against his close friend and teammate Matt Hoey.
This is the worst when you have to cannibalize your own teammates for tournaments.
Yep,
It sucks.
yep.
That's terrible.
They really wish they could have been seeing each other in the finals instead of
Finals,
the
yeah,
semifinals,
for
but
sure.
nonetheless, came here to win.
That's what happens. I will say, not because they're just Team Nerd Rage players, but because they're local players. Pretty happy about that. Like I'm happy that even though we've had obviously some people come in from out of states to participate in the CTs, which I'm thankful for, it's great to see the local guys kind of make their way towards the championship. Like I enjoy that.
No doubt, no doubt. Matt Hoey and Peter Tragos, more of the apt to travel, but
Yeah, for
here
sure.
they are.
But I think at least I've seen one or the other or both of them at almost every CT. I mean,
I believe so.
they play in a lot of CTs. Also, whenever Matt Hoey shows up, I could just crush him in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, really just love to destroy him in that game.
I mean, he doesn't really like the game, right?
Believe me, he likes the game. That's the funny part. Is he'll come in and he'll play a few games and he's like, whatever, this game's fine. And then like you sit down and he wants to start talking deck tech and you're like, come on, Hoey. The other problem is he can't play another card game. He knows that. I know that. Who's favored in the matchup? Who are you gonna take?
I would take Matt Hoey's side in this matchup.
The Black White Eldrazi deck versus the Elves deck. Let me look at
Yes.
Peter's deck list.
Main deck. Let's look at the main decks.
Okay,
If you were to look at the main decks
sure.
and you wanted to tell me four different cards you thought were good against elves
Yeah.
from Tragos' side,
Yes.
what
All of
would you
them would
take?
be Chalice of the Void.
Okay.
I think that card's very good against the
I
Elf
think
deck.
that is going to be the determining factor.
Turn
Whether
one Chalice?
a turn one chalice or a turn two chalice.
Okay, sure.
Also, turn one Thalia Heretic Cathar is also very good.
That's fair. I think Warping Well is fair. I think that card's probably pretty strong against the Elf
Yes,
deck.
very good against natural orders
Yeah.
and the glimpse of natures.
Yep. Beyond that, Reality Smasher, pretty strong card. Actually, before Reality Smasher, I'm sorry, I'm going to take Stoneforge Mystic into Jit.
It's helpful, but it's only as good as the same way it's good again with regular death and taxes. You know,
Sure.
it's a turn two Stoneforge Mystic into turn four at the earliest,
Jit.
equipping it
Is
and
that gonna?
attacking.
Yeah, is that
Well,
like
it's a little
win more,
earlier.
or-
Is the Jit main board?
The Jit is.
The
Yeah.
Jit is main board. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tragos can attack with a Jit on turn three
Yes.
because he has soul lands in his deck.
Right.
But I think this matchup is favorable for Hoey because he just goes so wide, so fast, and it's really hard for Tragos to really get ahead.
I don't know. I think you're
I-
underestimating the Chalice. I mean,
The Chalice is
obviously
very
I
good.
value
Oh, yeah,
your
absolutely.
opinion way more, but
Absolutely.
Chalice of the
No,
Void is
Chalice
a
so
miser
strong.
card.
Yeah, it's going to be Matt Hoey is going to have a hard time with that game one.
I mean, how do you beat that game one if you're on the Elves? Like, what
Well,
plan?
you go
do
around it.
have?
You just you have to play as many ones as you can,
Yeah.
and then you go into you turn
Green
into
Sun?
more of a Green Sun, Eldritch Visionary, Natural
Natural
Order
order
deck.
style. Yeah.
Yep.
God, that's brutal.
Natural Order is very natural. Once that card is cast, it's going to win the game.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
If it's
100%.
not being warping willed, it
Yeah.
will win the game.
Does Hoey play the what's the 3-drop elf from Origins that allows you to drain your
Oh,
opponent?
Shaman of the Pack.
Does he play that main board or not?
If we look here, I do not see one. He actually does play a main deck Reclamation Sage though, and
See,
that's going to battle very well against the Chalice.
I agree. That card is good. Interesting enough, in my Elves deck, I also play a main board Reclamation Sage, but I also play a main board Shaman of the Pack only because
Sure.
that card can essentially get you free value. You know what I mean?
It can
Like,
win you the game without attacking, which is very strong.
yeah, I think that's huge.
Wirewood Symbiote combo.
Yes. I
Combo
just
deck.
wondered because that also gives him a way to kind of play around Chalice if he's got these other 3 drops
Sure.
that he can kind of get to.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be tight. I think the games are either going to come out to Chalice or bust,
Sure.
and it could go anywhere as far as Hoey crushes him or Hoey stumbles. You know,
Yeah.
so
It's just such a dangerous line. As the players are probably taking a quick break for themselves, I believe we can look at the Elves deck list that we have here for a deck profile, and you can kind of run people through this.
Absolutely. So if we look here at the deck breakdown, Elves, a green-black primarily based deck. We can see Savannah in Hoey's deck for this weekend,
Hmm.
playing some white cards in the sideboard like Gaddock Teeg. But base green-black. Like it says here, uses natural order or green sun zenith to quickly put a greater hoof behemoth on a battlefield in association with a bunch of elves in order to approximately kill your opponent,
Sometimes more.
sometimes end them into the ground,
Yeah.
but sometimes just doing it for 12 is enough.
Yep.
But yes, it can generate large amounts of mana using Gaia's Cradle and Heritage Druid with association of Nettle Sentinel and the other elves, primarily to make just fast mana, which is a huge role play in Legacy
Yep.
with Daze as its Spell Pierces and all these conditional removal or conditional counterspells coming into the format and that have been here for ages. If we wanted to, if they want to cast a Spell Pierce against us, that's usually not gonna do what we want it to do. So, like it says here, lots of quick mana. Also splashes back black for the abrupt decay in the sideboard, along with discard spells. White, as I just said, for Gaddock Teeg and Hoey's board. Looks like the Shaman of the pack is actually in the sideboard.
Does he have it in the board?
Indeed.
I think the card's extremely good.
I think it deserves a place in the
Yeah.
75.
Yeah.
Fairly resilient due to the Elvish Visionary and Green Sun Zenith. Yeah, absolutely. Elvish Visionary is a very strong magic card when paired up with any sort of Elves deck. Wireward's About is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wire,
Card's pretty good.
and Tragos may have a problem with that card as well. Looks like we're drawing some opening sevens here for our match.
How do you feel about an essentially infinite blocker that also allows you to draw a card when you replay it next turn?
Well,
That seems
unless
pretty
it's
good.
blocking Reality Smasher, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yes, unless it's blocking the 5/5 trample. 4/4 trample?
5/5 trample.
5/5 trample.
5/5
Jesus.
trample.
Sweet Jesus.
It's great.
That card's pretty strong. I don't know. This Chalice
Looks
of
like
the
we
Void
up.
makes me
I think I
nervous.
see a City of Traders and a Chalice of the
I
Void
I don't like it.
in his
It makes
opening
me
hand.
super nervous. I don't like that card at all.
Oh, and Hoey is on the mulligan.
Oh.
Oh my, disaster could strike, but I'm not sure if Tragos has another soul land in his hand other than City of Traders. If he does, that's very good. But if not, that could end up being a death knell. Hoey's hand looks like a Heritage Druid, few lands, and a Wirewood Symbiote. He's gonna ship it. Doesn't do enough.
I feel like this is what happened last time for Hoey in the CT2. Is that as he got closer to the finals, his hands just kept getting, fairly worse. And
I don't think
worse.
they're actually getting that worse. When you're playing in the dark, when you're playing in the Swiss, you're allowed
Sure.
to keep these less
Yeah.
less is good hands sometimes, just because you have no idea what you're playing against.
Sure.
It could be fine. Like in that matchup, you have time to think. You have time to decide whether or not it's better.
Yeah.
Uh,
But he has
in a
access to
vacuum.
the deck list,
But
right?
he has access to
Yeah.
the deck list. He knows what he's playing against. He
Right.
knows what he has to beat,
Right.
and that's what makes he's probably searching for a Green Sun Zenith. Honestly,
Sure. So he can dig himself out of the hole in
yes,
case there is
he
a...
needs access to beat these cards that Tragos is presenting,
That's fair.
and he's just looking at these hands of Heritage Druid, Deathrite Shaman, Wirewolf Symbiote. He's like, this hand is not going to beat the Chalice.
Yeah.
And if we look here,
This is what he decided. I mean, he kept a pretty creature-heavy hand with 2 lands, though.
this looks fine to me. I mean, Quirion. If we just start off with Quirion Ranger here, and we can cast all the spells in our hand next game or next turn. If we draw Green Sun, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
If Treos casts a turn 1 Chalice, we just have a Visionary.
And we still have a Quirion Ranger
Yep.
resolved, so that's,
Absolutely.
that's fair.
It's notable that he resolved the Quirion Ranger first because that allows him to make more land drops and net more mana on a turn without having to worry if all of his creatures survive. The opposite line of Heritage Druid. And we see the Chalice with the Tarmogoyf die. And Max was like, "No."
You get a quarter.
All right, so Pure Tragos decided to play the Mox Diamond and the Caracas to do that. It looks like, and here we go. 2 1-drops in Matt Hoey's hand.
This is what we were talking about, though. Funny
Tragos-
thing, he drew the Bayou, has the Wooded Foothills, so potentially if we draw a Reclamation Sage, we can
Seems good.
at least kind of get out of it.
Seems good to me. City Traders. Looks like we might see Stoneforge Mystic here. Yeah, that's exactly what we see.
Wow. And this is the
And he's going to get this Jit, and I don't know if he's going to put it into play. He may. He might think that if Hoey draws a Reclamation Sage or Green Sun Zenith, that
yeah.
he's going to get the Chalice. But now this presents backup for the Chalice. Oh no, this is a disaster for Matt Hoey. He has to devote his 2 mana into Elvish Visionary and just pass the turn.
So the two main board cards that you asked me to name.
Actually,
Yeah.
it looks like Hoey might be able to fetch up Dryad Arbor and block bounce with Quirion Ranger so that Jit doesn't get any counters.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's
I think
fair.
that's the line that we're going for here. So
Okay.
we need to he needs to hope that Dragos doesn't have a warping will in this case.
In his hand.
Yep. Oh man, I can't quite see. I see the bat. Actually, I see the batter skull in Dragos' head, and I think Dragos is well aware to this Squarian Ranger line.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to
Just deploy the batter skull.
he's going to take some different. Oh, looks like he might suit up or play Revoker. Oh yes, he's going to play a Revoker. Oh, he's not playing the Revoker first to name Quirion Ranger.
What?
Interesting line.
Wow. And we're not taking the
We're
drive.
not
over
getting
here.
a Dryad Arbor.
All right.
Okay, 2 counters go on the Umuzama Jet.
So
That's
we're
always
just
fun.
dead. Interesting. I do like that Dryad Arbor line though.
Yeah. I guess it's just vulnerable to a removal spell, and it's whether or not you think he has a removal spell or another creature
Sure.
in his hand. And here's the creature. I think he's definitely more. He has way more creatures in his deck than he does removal spells. So I personally would have taken the Dryad line, and here he just scoops him out.
Wow.
Peter
Well,
Tragos.
he gets there. We were talking about those cards, and sure enough, they showed up. That's what it takes.
Hoey mulled 5, couldn't answer him, and that was the game.
I mean, those are the cards I'm fearful of.
If we look at the sideboards here for Matt Hoey, see what he can do. He can bring in some Abrupt Decays. Those are absolutely coming in. That card is fantastic in this matchup, just to get rid of the pesky permanents, whether it be his Umazawa's Jit or a Chalice of the Void. We may see things along the lines of Thoughtseize when he's on the play.
Yeah.
Cabal. I don't know about Cabal Therapy. I don't think Cabal Therapy is coming in, but possibly. Scavenging Ooze probably gets huge, and
Yep.
that could be a huge blocker. I don't really see too much else. Pithing Needle maybe if he wants to name Jet, but I don't think he wants to dilute his deck too much.
Probably
So,
not.
what do you see over there for Dragos' sideboard?
Let's see. We've got 2 Armageddon, 1 Disenchant, the 1 Eldrazi Displacer, the 3 Containment Priest, which maybe we might think about that.
Those are very good.
3 Rest in Peace, probably leaving that out. 2 Thorns and an additional Warping Whale. Also, interesting note, has 2 Endbringers, which I think are fairly decent in this matchup. I don't think they're bad. I mean, they allow us a creature to attack with and a creature to ping with.
Yeah, it's that's definitely very strong. But being 6 mana is still 3 to 4 lands from Tragos, and that can be a
Two-
huge investment.
It's 2 temples. So
2 temples and like
temples
2
and
other lands,
and
2
2
other mana
lands.
sources.
Or if we have an Eye of Ugin, how many eyes do we play? Do we play 4
Well, that's still a
eyes?
land. That's still considering it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
but
it's
that,
still a soul.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if that.
If you could stack them, that'd be insane. But
Yes, yeah, for sure. I just didn't know if that's better than Thought Knots here in this matchup.
oh, Thought Knot might be even more critical of a role in this matchup because sniping Abrupt Decays could be
Sure, that's
giant.
fair.
Um,
Warping
whenever you do things like this, whenever you dilute your deck to bring in these answers for problematic permanents,
Whale? Sure,
discard spells are usually
pretty
also
powerful.
just as highly valued, just for the fact that you turn your deck into 2 different angles almost. You have 2 different lines of ways to deal with the board or go about the game. And when you take away the one that matters more, it's essentially just the same thing as like a browbeat or compulsive here.
Sure.
You get the choice of
Of
whether or
how-
not you want to go if you want to deal with their main game plan or if you want to take away from their answers to your permanents.
So I'm assuming the 3 that come out are the Revokers. Is that what we're
Revokers
trimming?
are great.
Oh, you're gonna keep the Revoker?
Oh,
in?
absolutely.
Oh,
And
sure.
it gets Heritage Druid, Deathratch Shaman, Wirewood Sunbane.
Right.
Whatever's on the board and matters.
It can clip a Heritage Druid?
Yes, Heritage Druid is an activated ability. It's not static.
Really?
Tap 3 untapped Elves you control :
Oh boy. Wow, that is good.
Yes.
So what do we take out for the Containment Priests?
If we're looking at the deck list, I would probably cut the Batterskull. Batterskull is probably first out.
Okay. And then
Uh,
we've got two more we got to take out. The Dismember comes out also, or not? We're going to leave that in.
Dismember stays.
Okay.
Anything to deal with the board can stay. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben can go.
Okay.
That card is super medium
At best
at
here.
best. You
Yeah.
need to keep it in the reality measures because that's how you're actually going to win the game. Winning the game could be the problem since Hoey, if a chalice is not in play, can gum up the board
Yeah.
extremely well.
But Smasher does a pretty good job of getting through that, right? I mean, with the five power, five toughness, and
Right,
trample.
but if he's playing a bunch of visionaries and like other guys, and he's like filling his hand on card advantage, he can afford to trade two Nettle Sentinels and like one extra career ranger for
Very
a
true.
reality
Sure,
smasher,
sure.
and then just win the next turn. So like,
Especially if he brings in the Scavenger Ooze, like you said, and then builds up the Ooze that
oh,
way.
Ooze,
And yeah,
Ooze is gonna shine.
sure.
Ooze is gonna be great.
Sure.
And it's also a 2-drop, so chalices cannot do that much
Yeah.
usually, unless he chooses to do two. But it's very very hard to withhold yourself from doing it for one when you can.
I can't imagine he'd bring in the Containment Priest and also do two on Chalice of the Void. Like, it seems like pretty far, because then we lose our Warping Whales too.
Yeah. Well, I think he actually has to. I think he's priced into it.
Really?
Yeah, I think Containment Priest is just so good.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. That card's bonkers.
Like Dried Arbors actually can't enter the battlefield.
Yeah. Yes.
But here we go. We're on our sevens here, opening sevens from both players.
Man, how he looks to be heavy on land?
I only see two.
Is this not a fetch?
200 Dryad Arbor maybe? That might be a forest.
Gonna go to 19.
Looks like both have kept.
I like this black white Eldrazi deck.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's
I think
very
Joe Bernal made it.
Really?
Yes.
What happened to Joe today? I know he got knocked out, but
Him and I both lost round one.
yeah. I didn't
And
get
then
to see what he was playing.
he was playing Miracles today.
Was he?
Or no, he had Stoneforge Mystic in his deck.
So he was playing like a Stoneblade?
It might have been a Stoneblade deck. Wasn't
Okay.
too sure. But here we go. Turn one Stoneforge Mystic. That's not bad against this Elves opponent. Oh, that's a fantastic draw.
Yeah, it is.
That is a fantastic draw. Abrupt Decay. You guys at home, let us know what you play in Legacy in the comments. Absolutely, we'd like to hear what do you guys play around there. Our meta around here is usually not very heavy in blue.
No.
We
not-
do have an Omnitel deck in the top four, though,
Yeah?
and that's the most blue you can get.
Gosh, that's crazy. I've blown that deck out so many times.
Yeah?
So I mean, it's fairly easy for a Miracles deck, I feel like, but maybe it's Ethersworn Canonist proves pretty good against that deck. All right.
All right. Uh-oh.
The animation for Mad Hoey is my favorite.
Absolutely.
it's the best.
He's an entertaining guy to be around. Oh, yeah. Death and Taxes? Fantastic. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
There you go.
I love me some good Death and Taxes.
You and Matt Dow. Ugh. Terrible.
Yeah.
Just
He likes Infect too. He
he
actually plays
does. He
Infect
plays
too.
a lot of the same
Oh
decks
my
you
god.
do. I know.
That
it's
is
terrible.
so funny.
You guys are just the worst.
Oh, he's trying to double spell this turn. But it might be awkward if he wants to cast Abrupt Decay in the same mana turn.
Oh.
Oh, lordy Lou.
Why did this happen now? You think Hoey's just going to show him both, or you think he's going to try to clip the Stoneforge?
I think he's just going to let it resolve.
And
I don't
then
think Stoneforge.
show.
Yeah, I don't think Stoneforge Mystic matters too much because if he just Abrupt Decays and then now Peter has to decide whether or not he wants to do exactly what I said, derive from the main game plan in Natural Order or
Right.
the card that answers the permanence in Abrupt Decay. So
Oh. Did he not take anything?
he has to. He took Natural Order.
Oh, okay.
He's figuring that he can win the game without without Umezawa's Jit right now. Although this is exactly Matt's opening because there's no Chalice on one right now.
No, there's not.
Like he has. These are his crucial turns. Showing him what he knows. Probably joking around.
Oh, this
I don't
is.
know if I would necessarily call Death and Taxes fun, wholesome fun for everyone, but I'm glad to see that someone else
You
enjoys the
should get that
deck.
engraved on your deck box.
Oh man,
Oh boy.
what do we got here? Coming up the board,
Yep.
we have we have the Dryad Arbor line for Thought Not Seer.
That's a lot to commit to that card.
I think Hoey has plenty of time here. Actually, if Peter Tragos has no removal spells in his hand, or Thalia's, Thalia's great. I think if he casts Thalia, Hoey will fetch and get a Dryad Arbor. Instead, now the Thought Not Seer, which I
Jeez.
don't, which is going to take the Abrupt Decay, so he might just cast that card this turn, since he's not going to be facing Umazawa's Jit. Tap 3 green. Oh yeah, he could still actually make the Dryad Arbor line.
It's tap 3 green.
Yep, tap 3 green,
Eat
make
your
a black.
planes, right?
Yep, and then he just needs to fetch up the Dryad Arbor.
Sure.
Go black, kill the Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah. Oh, that's cool too. I mean, that's a big play actually. A 1/2 is not doing much on this board.
Oh, he gets his Nettle Sentinel here, yeah?
All he needs is time.
Shouldn't this be untapped?
He's not do go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, just a
What?
free block on the for the Nettle Sentinel on the Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, but he didn't have to bounce a land. He cast an Abrupt Decay. The Nettle Sentinel should untap anyways. It's a green spell.
You're right.
Hoey, what are you doing?
Slight misstep for Hoey. Not really one
It's-
to usually do those.
No, not at all. That's weird. I wonder if he was thinking too much about the target.
I think-
and then,
I think-
the attack
I think he had all of this whole turn
planned out
flowed
and
through his
just-
head,
Yeah,
and he didn't think about Thought Not Seer.
yeah.
Like
The second one.
I think that's all that happened. Hoey does not usually make mistakes.
Yeah, and now the Jit's there. Ugh.
Jit is here. But it's not going to do much if Hoey does decide to go for the Dryad Arbor line. Oh, no.
Jeez.
On the Quirion Ranger, Peter Tragos sees it. Only a glimpse of nature in Matt's hand.
I just I just can't believe the amount of answers coming from Tragos' deck. I mean, like we know they're there, but
I'm
it's
honestly
like
very shocked.
it's like every card is an answer. It's insane.
I'm not saying this is definitely I really did think that this was a bad matchup for Peter Tragos. I honestly did.
I would agree with you if I thought he may not see every card that he needed to, but it's like
I think Matt is just claiming I'm dead, I'm
Yeah,
dead.
is he just shouting at him at this point?
It's hard to hear with these headphones on.
I know. I just have to imagine he's not pleased with the board state currently. He's
No,
probably
no.
he could have just pulled, I guess, the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator too. I'm right here,
Yep.
come and get me.
And unfortunately, with this Jade activation, Natural Order is not a draw next turn.
No, it isn't. Oh,
Yes,
So, do you even
absolutely.
attempt to block here, or you just let it come through and then make?
If you want to
make
keep
Peter spend
your
the-
creatures, you make him kill the Deathrite.
Yeah.
Like you just take the 8. Maybe he'll kill Deathrite Shaman. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just wait for Natural Order if it is the draw step.
Yep.
Seems like he's gonna go for keeping him off of high amount of mana.
Sure.
Also fine. Gonna fetch up that Dryad Arbor in the wake of this top deck Natural Order. Hopefully.
No.
Okay, that's fine too.
Wants to buy you.
I guess it just dies. It just dies to the Jet right now.
Right.
So doesn't do anything. Better just to him. Better just to 2 him. The Deathrite Shaman. There we go. Is that it?
Oh.
Is that a Reclamation Sage? I think it was.
What was it?
Oh,
was a Green Sun.
So we can Green Sun for Reclamation Sage.
Oh, jeez.
Which is fine, but he's gonna have to chump block with a Nettle Sentinel.
Well, he could attack for 2.
Or you can chump block with either one.
He can attack for 2.
Mhm.
With the Nettle Sentinel. cast the Green Sun for 3 with the help of the Death Right. Untap the Nettle Sentinel, right?
Yeah.
And have then two Chump Blockers.
It's just yeah, right.
I don't know if that's the line. I'm just saying that.
Right, right. It's possible. Yeah, I'm just saying he has to chump block with somebody because he's going to have two Thought Seers, and one of them is going to, or one or both will have to be blocked.
Right.
Or one, yeah, because you can't block, or you had to block one of them. That's all I'm saying.
Is there another elf he can get that's better? That doesn't make us spend all our mana, where we can somehow
Well,
like keep.
Shaman of the Pack certainly isn't lethal yet.
It isn't.
Um, you could possibly get Scavenging Ooze and make it a 3/3 and try to go long, but I really don't think that is a play in the face of this. In Umazawa's Jit, that could just kill the 3/3 Scavenging Ooze the next turn. He's going to attack for the Nettle Sentinel. Attack with the Nettle Sentinel. Free attack.
Yeah, it's
Absolute free attack. Okay.
oh gosh, this is a precarious situation.
Yep. Put him to 8.
I wonder if Peter not even going to give him a chance to.
Yep, he's definitely getting for Reclamation Sage.
Yeah. For 3.
This is if that would have been a Warping Whale right there.
Oh, it would have been tragic.
That would have been the game.
Absolutely tragic.
All right. Peter Dragos may be gaining 2 life in just a minute.
That I think that has to be right. 'Cause
Yeah.
what else are you going to do?
Kill the
Nothing.
Reclamation Sage.
Oh, it's a 2-1. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
That's probably the play. Yeah, it's probably that. That's probably.
That's probably the better.
I was just like, yeah, Jit dies.
Yeah.
Gains 2 life. Oh no, there's a 2-1 play.
So now, if we have a way to remove this Nettle Sentinel,
That is the game.
yeah. Oh, jeez. Do we have a way to remove it?
I don't
what,
see one
What
so
kills a Nettle Sentinel in our deck? We've already used the 1 Dismember. I don't know if there's anything else.
Displacer. If you can
Oh,
get.
sure.
If he can
Needs-
get another mana source, he needs 1 more mana to be able to do that. Just to play and displace. All right. Doesn't have it.
Way down to 2. Oh, what is this?
That's a hard cast, Batterskull.
Yep. This puts Peter down
I
to
don't know what the
6.
draw is. Oh, well,
Glimpse.
it's a creature. That's for sure.
Yep.
This is for Hoey's tournament life at stake here.
So
He boarded out the other 3 because Chalice is so good against him. Absolutely. I think I've.
No.
Oh no.
What is it?
Actually,
What's good?
I think he's not. I think he's slow rolling himself.
Yeah. Glimpse. Cast Glimpse. Don't cast Glimpse. Oh, boy. This is bad.
It has to be Heritage Druid into Nettle Sentinel as the first draws.
Oh,
Cast
here we
it.
go.
Why are we-
No!
All right, here we go. That's a land.
It's a land. Oh.
He can make a mana with the Death Right and bounce it and play it. To
Right.
get it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
No way.
Oh, a natural order is the peel, and that's going to be the game. Peter
Oh,
Dragos.
boy. 2-0 for Mr. Tragos.
Fantastic.
Gosh. I can't believe it. I
That was,
thought that was going to get out of hand.
I think I just have played a lot of I played Bant Eldrazi in Indianapolis
Okay.
in Modern,
Yeah.
and I played against the Elves deck in Modern, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I have this bias because that matchup, in my opinion, is not very good for
The Eldrazi.
the Eldrazi deck because I guess that deck though has Lords and goes much bigger in a long game, and if you don't have the early game, you definitely can't beat it. So I think that's what
They're very different decks. Yeah,
they are.
yeah.
They're completely different decks. So my assumption was wrong. Peter Dragos did come out on top over Van Hoey in a very seemingly convincing fashion.
I wouldn't say you were wrong. I think the Elves deck definitely has the ability to fight against the Black-White Eldrazi deck, but and not that you jinxed Hoey, but when you said pick the 4 best cards against the Elves deck, and we talked about the 4 best cards, and the first cards we see in every matchup are those cards. I mean, what are you supposed to do at that point?
Well,
I don't know if you have a lot of options. Like,
not mulligan to 5 is probably
right,
the option.
that's probably the best one.
But
Yeah, that was, gosh. It sucks they had to play each other once again. Like, just,
good friends.
yeah, it's really terrible. I mean, it's going to come down to it one way or the other if they play now, but playing for the finals would probably have been a little bit more
Yeah, but they voted to
Exciting.
walk out with some cash in their pocket.
Oh,
So
for sure,
in
for sure.
this lovely championship series that Nerd Rage is hosting
Hey,
and has been hosting since the beginning of the year, and I'm a big fan.
you like it?
I'm a big fan,
Yeah, I like it too.
and I think there's great things to come for next year as well.
I
So
think next year is going to be bigger and better. So we're rolling right now into the finals anyway. So
we're
I
just